So the Suns look awful, allegedly. What was Phoenix thinking by getting Kevin Durant, Booker, and Bradley Beal? So Phoenix really thought there's no point guard. You go, then you go, then you go, then I'll go. Offense was going to work with three guys who have zero experience playing point guard. All three guys are guys who pass and can get assists, but aren't guys who can run an offense, which is very different. Which like means like facilitating. The fact that Joseph Nurkic is your best facilitator is just brutal when he's being counted on to be the post presence. And Mikal Bridges alone makes the KD trade look ridiculous because Phoenix didn't go into it with a plan per se. They went into it with thinking get KD, adding him to Booker would be unstoppable. And then they compounded the problem by saying, oh, I know, let's trade for Beal to go with KD and Booker and we'll be even more super duper unstoppable. Phoenix is in a world of trouble and they traded all their assets for this abomination of a team. At least when the Clippers did it, they got a guy in Harden who has actually played point guard before, and they already had Russell Westbrook. And this guy said, I think this is interesting because like Beal's played a total of 4 games. He hasn't scored very well according to his standards. And the issues on this team are defense, not offense. Beal might have been a mistake, but Aiden wanted out and there was no other big man on the market. The big three not scoring 20 plus or not playing 20 plus games together is huge. And you know, they need a guy who can point guard, play defense, and rebounding. It took 9 to 10 seconds for them to start the offense, and that's fine if you know what to set up, but no, just dribble, 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 and then 1v1 pull-up jumper. And they're going to win a lot of games, but come playoff time, their issues are still going to be there. They have 3 offensive players with only 1 ball, and they're relying on an injury-prone Nurkic to hold down the paint and be like a secondary facilitator. They're in a melange, and they also have a melange of veteran minimums to be stopgap measures. It's hard to win like that. The one thing that we keep saying about the West is that it's too good to load manage, and I personally think that Memphis is done for the year, but they're competitive enough to hang around and not allow you to load manage your high usage stars into this long season. And that it's not that it's like a terrible trade, but you don't go your whole future for a 34-year-old with injury history, and it's just like, look. And they're not even playing Jordan Goodwin that much because the Suns clearly need some guys because it's a case of duplicating talent and not really directly adding to the team. And the Suns have the 11th best SRS in the West before losing to Brooklyn at home fully healthy last night. And there's 58 games. The team is still 13-11. That would be 31-27, and that would mean they would finish 46-36. If they continue to go on like this. And that also infers that these stars would be out there every night, and that it's not like they just need to try to fix this and not have it look like a game of whack-a-mole every night, in my opinion, and that it could be a bit better that way. So I didn't realize I was leaning this whole time like this, but like I do believe that this is like a big problem right there that they're having. And that, yeah, like, look, I get the whole idea that the difference is that the Clippers have James Harden, who's a point guard and facilitator. Milwaukee has Dame and all that stuff. But, I mean, these are legit. There's nothing that the Suns have to figure out player-wise. We know who these guys are and how they play, and none of them are able to run an offense because they are the offense. And the thing with that is, they can facilitate collectively, but Joseph Nurkic is like literally one of your like offensive facilitators. It's just the worrying that the Suns' offense is like worrying on the Bucks on defense. The two teams can switch it up naturally, they'd be fine, but it's not like we're gonna have Bull out there playing point guard and KD, Beal being these skilled basketball IQ is gonna make Bull or somebody look amazing. That's why we're hearing this team still be interested in TJ McConnell. Their problem is that they don't have a point guard dog, and I'd rather see the Suns go after someone with who's got a point guard ability. And like, this offense is still figuring out. They can turn it around, and they can figure it out when you have scoring talent like KD, Booker, and Beal. And people are trying to say, oh, this is like a really, really poor man's 2021 Nets. A bad combination of less playmaking, less off-ball scoring from this big three. And the Bucks are 17-7, are tied for the second best record, and they are trying to settle Lillard, but in the process, they do win games. But they have a core of Giannis, Lopez, Middleton, Portis, Connaughton, Damian intact. And what's the similarity with the Suns? Only Booker's left from the previous seasons, and obviously the Clipper references are a little different because they have Harden, Kawhi, George, Zubats from the years, and Westbrook from last year's, and it's the continuity's there. And the thing is Matt Ishbia has reportedly had his hands on every single major trade going back to the KD trade, and that, you know, Matt Ishbia is kind of playing GM and doesn't know what he's doing. Is some people saying that it's a shiny toy, that he cares more about his damn ego than winning, and that only a fool like him would give up 4 first-round picks, Mikal, Cam. On top of that, the price was way too much, and the Suns, you know, could be in for some brutal seasons after these guys leave, or when, you know, our man gets to 30. And as a Wizards fan, I'm just glad someone took off that albatross of a contract that Mr. Bradley Beal had, because Beal practically has barely played this year. So from a value perspective, the Beal trade probably made sense at the time. Still, you end up with a roster out of balance due to top 3 heavy offensive guys, and only one of them could play really good defense when he tries. KD. Booker's mediocre at best, and Beal used to be decent, but like, he's an injury prone. He's not really a reliable asset on defense. So the Suns are stuck with Beal if this doesn't work like they thought. He has no trade clause, could veto any trade. This is why the Wizards had to take CP3 for him, because he chose that team he wanted to be on, and other teams passed on him because of his contract. And we can see the Suns are definitely missing CP3, and that this is something that, you know, that they don't miss Aiden though. Nurkic pretty much does what Aiden does. And anyway, you know, the Suns need to improve defensively. They need to make better decisions on the court, and there's a ton of room for improvement. They just look awful because they're figuring things out. They lost a bunch of wing depth. They added they added like a guy who isn't a system player but his own player, and now their roster is just kind of mad. They're not even, I don't know. I think the biggest issues besides chemistry are turnovers and rebounding. The Suns gave up 28 more shot attempts against the Lakers during the in-season tournament knockout stage and lost by 3. There's promise, but they need to, you know, remain healthy for the rest of the season. They could use a point guard like DeLon Wright, Tyus Jones, you know, Monte Morris, and a backup center like Andre Drummond, or who's another good, Cody Zeller, like something. They don't really have. The problem is they don't have assets to make significant moves that are relatively non-existent. So that's the big problem. Okay. And yeah. So the Phoenix Suns look awful. Yeah, that's basically my thoughts right there. It's not been pretty. We can all agree it has not been pretty for this team. So with that being said, I want to hear your guys' opinions. What do you guys think and why? But yeah, not been the prettiest situation at all. How do you fix it? I don't know. That's where it becomes definitely a tough one to figure out on your own. And I want to hear your guys' opinions. What would you guys do if you guys were playing GM? If you guys were playing 2K? But besides that, that's going to be it from me. I hope you guys did enjoy. Let's get into some Pirtle, guys.